Hey boys and girls, welcome back to New Stuff TV, the untechnical tech channel. I'm your host, Antoine. Surround me with some sweet cinema sound Richardson because today we're checking out this soundbar from LG. It's the S90TR 7.1.3. Yeah, 3 soundbar. The 3 is, it's kind of interesting how they do the 0.3 with this. Either way, I just recently tried out a 65-inch LG B4 OLED. It was my first experience with OLED, so I decided to pair it up with this particular soundbar just to get that experience that LG is actually kind of promoting with their TV soundbar combinations. And this was actually a really good experience. Now, you've already seen, well, I don't know if you've seen the video for the TV or not, so you definitely want to watch that LG B4 video I did. I thought it was pretty good. Let me know what y'all think. Anyways, I paired this soundbar up with it, and I just wanted to give you some quick thoughts on my experience with the soundbar over the last week. Now, the first thing I actually noticed when I turned it on and just started watching some content was how wide it sounds. It's as wide as your average, I would say, premium soundbar, but it sounds so much wider than that. It actually sounds like you might have some speakers on stands or maybe even some towers off to the left and right. Man, it does a really great job of separating that sound, especially like there's this one time, I don't know, something was like on the bottom left of the screen, and I actually heard it come from the bottom left of the screen. So that means those side firing speakers are doing a spectacular job of positioning. I thought that was pretty incredible, especially coming out of a soundbar. So as we hone in on sound separation, you do have a lot of speakers built into the soundbar itself. You got left, right, center, and side firing speakers, and you even have an Atmos channel, which is going to be the top center. But let me tell you, the left and right speakers do a fantastic job. We've already talked about that. We've talked about the side firing speakers, but the dialogue in the center channel is the star of the show, especially when you combine that with the Wow Orchestra feature that the LG TVs have. And that's where you can basically use the TV in combination, or the TV speakers in combination with the soundbar, to get the best dialogue possible out of your setup. I did not have any trouble at all hearing anything anybody had to say. Now, the rear speakers do a really good job, and they're just regular old wireless rear front firing speakers, and they just sit back there on the left and the right doing their thing, surrounding you with that excellent sound. You can actually, in the app, I'll get to that app later, but you can tone them up or down depending on, how much you want to hear that environment. And like I said before, they do a great job. But that takes me back to the soundbar itself, and so we can talk about the Atmos, and that's where that 0.3 comes in. On the top of the soundbar, you're going to see 3 up-firing drivers. One's going to be on the left, one's going to be on the right, and one is going to be dead center on top of your front-firing center channel. And that's going to give you all the Atmos you need. So here's the thing. With soundbars, it's usually like, how much Atmos are you going to get out of a soundbar, right? Especially when it's sitting right there, like at the bottom of the TV. It's supposed to fire that sound up, bounce it off the ceiling, and into your ear holes. Hey, they do what they do. They do a good job. Within the app, you do a room calibration. That way the speakers can actually figure out where they are in relation to each other. And this soundbar does a spectacular job of providing you good Atmos. I do remember watching something with, it was actually airplanes this time. It wasn't helicopters, it was airplanes, and they kind of come at you, or you're underneath the airplane and it just kind of goes, and you can actually, you get that sensation that airplane just kind of flew over your head. So the up-firing speakers actually do a really good job of giving you an Atmos experience. But that's when we take it all home and take you to that bass. Y'all know I love me some bass, so we got to talk about this subwoofer. Now, it's a tall subwoofer, but the driver in there, I don't think it's as big as it appears to be inside of the enclosure. It's a tall, slim enclosure, so you can just tuck that thing away. But I got to tell you, on this particular soundbar and woofer setup, placement of the subwoofer is paramount. You're gonna need to walk around your room and play around with this thing, man. Position it in the front left corner, front right, front or rear right, rear left, and just all over the place. Just find the best position for your woofer, because that is gonna be ultra important, because depending on where you put this woofer, it can be a little bit underwhelming, especially when you're expecting that big explosion, or that like a bridge collapsing or something like that. It can be underwhelming if you do not put it in the right spot. So make sure you take the time to play around with it and just put it in different areas of your room. That way you can get the absolute best sound you're going to get out of this subwoofer. Now, collectively and overall, just watching regular content like TV shows and stuff like that, it sounded pretty great right out of the box. But when it was time for me to just check out a movie or something, I thought it might have sounded kind of thin. So that's when I went into the interface, the app, and the remote. Well, I didn't go to the remote because I got a demo unit and I don't know, somebody lost the remote and I didn't get to play around with it. Luckily for us, the remote actually works with the LG TV remote. Once you connect it to an LG TV, it's all one remote, so I didn't have to worry about that. But it does have an app, which I love because it has so many controls in there, which you can just kind of go in and toggle. You got bass, treble, and mids, and then you got speaker gain or decibel gain. I'm gonna call it gain, okay, for every channel basically. So you can kind of fine tune and tweak whatever you want to within the app because there's plenty of settings in there for that. Now back to the content I watched. Of course, I watched regular TV. Dude, I don't like with TV shows, I just watch like old stuff, man. I'm stuck in like the early 2000s era. I like to watch like King of Queens. That's one of my favorite shows. Doug be tripping. And Arthur. Oh my God, Arthur. Anyways, then we got like 2.5 Men. I love that show. The Office. What else did I watch? Of course, Young Sheldon. And of course, HDTV. I got my Magnolia channel and HDTV. So that was all the regular TV content I watched. And once again, dialogue came through just shining crystal clear. And whatever was presented in like 5.1 or whatever, it really did shine throughout the entire system. But then that's when I get to the movies. Now, when I told y'all when I showed you the video of the LG B4, I told you I watched the Batman. I had to experience that on OLED because it's such a dark movie. And of course I used it with this particular soundbar setup and it sounded so good. Man, I was actually really impressed. Now, looking at the price and the build quality of the entire setup, you know, it's like you should be impressed because, you know, it's not a cheap soundbar setup by any stretch, right? But, you know, I always take things kind of like at a base level and just let it surprise me. And that's exactly what this setup did, man. It sounded really good. It's been a great experience with the soundbar, man. LG did a good job on this one. So my journey with LG products, I've only, you know, had a few of them on this channel. What I plan on doing now is working my way up the ladder. You know, there's a C4 OLED and then there's the, you know, a soundbar that can kind of match up with that one. Actually, this soundbar can actually level up to the next tier or two of TVs. And then you can get into the G's and stuff like that. So, hey man, stick around and come back, you know, for the next couple of videos because I'm gonna be working with LG, man, see if I can get some of this stuff so we can sample out, you know, all their OLED stuff and then, you know, some of the sound bars that match these TV setups. In the comments, let me know what else you want to see as far as LG goes and we can see if we can get it in here for us to check out. Either way, I'm no expert in this kind of stuff, but what I do know is the LG S90 TR is a great complement to any TV. But if you have an LG TV with Wow Orchestra enabled, it's probably one of the best ways to just wrap up that package and bring your cinema sound to your living room. Either way, y'all keep being good to each other and I'll see you when I see you.